Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the Kunwu Knives Django XL. This is my second XL to check out from Kunwu, and I must say that when it comes to at least the crossbar XL knives, they do a fantastic job with just about everything. So being that it's an XL, how big is it? So this one comes in at 8.85 inches overall. It has a 3.7 inch clip point blade, nice satin finish on there, fullers on both sides of the blade. You have a full forward finger choil that also doubles as a oversized sharpening choil. You can see my fingernail is, you can have all that sharpening life before to even think to start flaring at the heel. This knife is in LMAX steel, Rockwell from 60 to 62 HRC. That's exactly where you want to see it. And in my experience from testing lots of Kunwu knives, they do a fantastic job with just about every steel they use. You do have a row of jimps there that are perfectly functional. They add the perfect amount of traction, whether you're choked back here. And if I'm up here, you know, I'm usually going to overshoot that in saber grip, but not that big of a deal. You have a nice and pokey tip there, great for piercing. And being this one has a high tip like that, anytime you see the concaved clip point, it's going to give you a lot of belly. So if you enjoy a nice, great slicer, this one should be fantastic because of all that upward swept belly. Especially if you do a lot of slicing motion cuts on a flat cutting surface, it's going to allow you to get that entire portion from about here into the cutting board to either do some rocking motion cuts, do some sawed motion cuts, push down cuts. Now, whenever it comes to in-hand cuts, you're probably going to want to be choked up in this forward choil area just so you don't get hung up there. Plus, in-hand cuts, if you're doing longer cuts, your natural turn of that wrist, you're probably going to slide out of your cut toward the end, about right here where that belly starts. So you just got to be mindful of that and make adjustments. This one comes with a pretty high flat grind, and it's ground. If you look where my fingers are right there, it's ground nice and thin. So this one should slice very well, and we're going to find out. So when I got started, I decided to make sure to put my finger in that forward choil area just so I didn't get hung up, because it's a pretty big spot. My finger fits nicely, and I didn't have any fear of hitting that edge. I'm kind of holding it like a trigger almost. But one thing I wanted to note is that, you know, all my Kunwu knives usually come super sharp. This one didn't just come sharp. It was hair whittling sharp. This is the second Kunwu knife now that I've had that came out of box hair whittling. Not to mention they always heat treat their stuff to the proper HRC. They're going for performance. He's a knife guy just like us. Now testing the ergos, and you know, the light fine curls, perfect. You know, I was nice and locked in that forward choil area. It's making the fine curls rather easily. I'm getting used to the angle on this knife. It has great edge geometry. And you may start to see me, see me kind of fumbling the knife back and forth. Well, whenever I start really putting a lot of pressure into it, something that I love is now something that is becoming a minor hotspot, and it's the tab on the crossbar lock, how it flares up, and it's got jimping on it. Only whenever I was bearing down hard. Now this is where, you know, I'm always having my fingers crossed, because some knives are sharp, and they're over sharpened, or they're buffed, and they don't have any grit to them, no toothiness. When I say that this was the easiest silsel rope cutting I did that day, I think I tested 3 other knives before this one. They were all premium knives. None of them stood a chance. This one, you see me going back and forth with the pointer finger grip, which, you know, I say it all the time, has to be sharp for me to do it. I can't do that type of grip if it's not like really sharp with a good bit of bite. And you know, this is usually the most unenjoyable test for me. It usually causes blisters because I'm having to put a lot of force into it, because either the knife's not super sharp, or the geometry to the edge is super thick. So A+ on both fronts for the Django XL. It's going through it so effortless, and you got the extra heft from the, the larger knife, it's allowing it to do the work a lot easier. And then because you got that high tipped clip point, you got all that belly, so cutting on a flat cutting surface is a breeze. But when you come to stuff like this, you pretty much have to use that belly. You can kind of use the tip to get it started, but mainly, the easiest way to do it is just to drag through with the belly. Nothing gave it any trouble whatsoever. That edge never lost its umph the entire time. And I can guarantee you this thing is still screaming sharp after this. And if not, I guarantee you I can drop it back in probably a minute and a half. So outstanding job. Performance, I expected that. I knew it was going to perform great. Like I said, they do a great job with their heat treatments on their knives, and they use excellent high-end premium performance steels. Now let's talk about the deployment. And like I said in the beginning of the video, with this being the second XL that I've handled, especially with the crossbar lock, the Omega springs on these bigger ones are dialed to perfection in my eyes. They're nice and smooth because they're riding on ceramic bearings. As soon as you release that crossbar lock, it's a free dropper. But it can be tricky because you have this big mass of a blade there that you need to get out of the scale. So I've seen either they become way too strong to where it's almost impossible to do anything but either two-hand open it or just a slow roll. But the way this one's dialed, you can easily reverse flick it. I can thumb flick it. I could probably even... Yeah, I can almost, it's not as easy to reverse flick off the fuller, but you don't need to. And you can also use the crossbar to pull back and deploy the knife as well. So definitely fantastic job with dialing in the tension that creates a detent on this one. My particular version is the orange peeled titanium, as you can see there. Just a surface finish that they do on the titanium. I will say the orange peeled textured finishes seem to be a lot stronger, especially holding up to scratching. Now, I'm guessing they probably bead blast it after they do the orange peel, because you can see that same color right here on these chamfers. I think it looks nice. It gives you just a little bit of extra texture rather than this being just smooth, especially being that they blasted over it. You got large chamfers going all the way around. Being this is an XL, it's got the wider, thicker scales that fill out the hand perfectly. This one was very, very comfortable to hold no matter which grip I held it in. Even in this reverse, because you don't have a flipper tab, I can kind of sit right here in that choil area and pull back. Or you can kind of grab on top of it if you got, bigger paws, you could do that. And if you want to hold it in the reverse gas station fighting grip, you could do that as well. Put the thumb on the butt of the knife right there. All right. So if you look right here, you have, I'm guessing that it looks like a Damascus pivot collar. It's either Damascus, you see it going around there, or laser etch. I never can remember that, but it looks nice regardless. Then you have their logoed pivot there. It's not countersunk or anything, but I don't ever find any issues with those not being countersunk. You have a titanium backspacer that has an integrated lanyard hole. It's a massive lanyard hole, so you could fit 550 in there easily if that's your thing. And you have a 3D milled titanium pocket clip that is tip up, left or right hand carry. And it also comes with a wire pocket clip. So if you don't like the mill clip, or you don't think the mill clip functions like you would like it to, then just throw the wire clip on there and you have the best of both worlds. On his site, he also offers replacement clips. You can find Damascus clips. He offers a lot of extras on the site as well. This is a long and wide knife, so I expected it to be a very heavy, clunky knife, but it doesn't feel that way. If you look inside here, you do have partial stainless steel liners that have been pocketed out all the way into the tie, as you can see there, hopefully, on the top and bottom to bring down the weight as much as they possibly could. Coming in at 6.45 ounces, and I think that's more than manageable for the sheer size of this knife in all dimensions. The balance point on this one is, it's a little bit back from where you'd want it, as you can see there. So it's a little bit butt heavy, not bad. It feels nimble in hand. The ergos, like I talked about earlier, were great. Nice locked in, no hot spots that I noticed. That pocket clip stayed out of the way of my palm. One thing that I love about how Kunwu does their crossbar locks, because I'm not the biggest crossbar lock fan, because I find it to be uncomfortable, because I have neuropathy in my hands, and certain things just drive my hands crazy, especially when they have strong springs. Like, you know, this is what you normally see in like this from like say Benchmade, and most companies is just a little screw head in there with a little disc, which is not terrible, but these little tabs with the texture on them are comfortable. They grip the finger perfect, and they can make those springs strong, and it's comfortable to disengage it. Outstanding job. So being that you have that stronger Omega spring, it's pushing that lock in pretty hard. This thing, when I say is a bank vault, you cannot muscle any kind of play in any direction. Super tight lockup, and that's exactly what you want to see, especially in a big old behemoth like this. Now let's check out some size comparisons with some similar size knives. First, we have the Kunwu XL Pulsar. It's identical in length to that, and it's a good bit bigger than the Kunwu Tao. It's a good bit bigger than both the Carbon Knives Buckhorn and the Ontario Rat Model 1. Next up, it's just a little bit shorter than the Spyderco Manix 2 XL, and it's about identical to the CJRB Frac. Lastly, it's about identical in size to the Spartan Heartsey folder and dwarfs the Spyderco PM2. Being that no knife is perfect, now for my nitpicks and complaints. The only real thing I could even be nitpicky about, because I think he did a fantastic job with going over this knife with a fine-tooth comb. The only thing I would have loved to see, being that you have these full length, not as full width, but full length stainless steel inset liners in there, I would have loved to see where the first cutout starts right there. I would love to see the liner stop right there. I think it would still be strong enough, because there's plenty of knives that do that, but I'm not a knife maker or an engineer, so I don't know. But you know, I think it would have balanced the knife out perfectly. But like I said earlier, it still feels nice and nimble in hand. It's not overly butt heavy right here anyway. So who is this knife for? If you're looking for a high quality, aesthetically pleasing pocket knife that performs well in everyday situations, the Kunwu Django XL is a fantastic option. The combination of its materials, design, and smooth action makes it a standout piece for anyone's collection. That's it for today's review. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit the like, comment, and subscribe to hit that bell notification for more in-depth knife and gear reviews. What are your thoughts on the Kunwu Django XL? Or what is your favorite Kunwu knife? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time. Keep those blades sharp. Smile more. Bang! Wheeze.